Well, whatever happens on Wednesday, it will have an effect on gold. For those who sold gold at its high last week at 4,400, like you did,
I did
where is
a part of it.
where is are we in a pullback situation? Is this just allowing gold to take a breather? Where is the point where we get back into gold, and is that a way of getting the next new leg to higher levels in gold?
I think that we are just in a consolidation phase. You know, the price of gold pushed higher significantly in a matter of 4, 6 weeks. It was crazy going from 3,800 to nearly 4,400. And I think that there was a need for a breathing period on the gold price. I think that this is what is happening. It's not the end, to my point of view, of the gold rally. We can move higher, 4,500. You can even imagine that in an environment where the Fed is keeping lowering rates next year, then you could imagine that 5,000 is something that is reachable in terms of 12 to 24 months horizon. It's just a consolidation. Where should you consider to maybe increase your position again in gold, or get into it because you were not playing the game over the course of the last 2 years? I think that 3,900 is a good entry point on gold, to my point of view.
Apart from the UK central bank, do you think central banks are still buying gold at these levels?
Yes, they are buying gold. They are buying gold, not necessarily on a day-to-day basis and not necessarily at 4,400, but clearly the trend is for the central bank to increase their gold exposure. And we mentioned that many times in our discussion, it's because there is this phenomenon of de-dollarization that is not only part of the European Central Bank, the UK Central Bank, the Swiss National Bank, it is also part of the game in emerging central banks. And don't forget that we have this theory of the South emerging against the West, or the northern part. And there is this new divide between North and South. And I think that emerging market central banks have understood the lesson with what happened in Ukraine, is that you can see your reserve frozen by the US and European Union. And so they want to de-dollarize the system, and that's something that is going to continue, to my point of view, in the coming years.
This is a huge driver for the price of gold, surely.
What is interesting, you have a combination in terms of what is bringing the gold price higher and higher. First, you have very low real interest rates. You have a very limited opportunity cost of gold, because gold does not bring you anything, no dividend, nothing. That's the first reason. There is this desire by countries to reduce their exposure to the US dollar. And what really brought the uptrend in the course of the last few months on gold price was the fact that private investors, which did not participate significantly until August, have decided suddenly to purchase a lot of gold. ETF purchases were significant. I think that this kind of thing that currently is going under, you have big players in the gold market who are saying, let's play against those retail investors. And that's the reason why you have this consolidation.